If you have understood that part, you really don't need to watch the rest of the presentation. The lessons learned from this video are we need a sharp chopper. It's technique and it's not brute force. Chopping basically exploits the existing fault lines. We're not creating anything, they are fault lines, we are just exploiting that. We need a cutting board as a resistance. The posterior capsule is not going to be a good enough cutting board, so we need to hold up the nucleus with our phaco probe. The chopper goes a short distance only. Chopper does not go till the posterior capsule, it does not go till the cutting board over here. The chopper runs, but the chop runs till the posterior plate. That's very important. In the bag, vertical chopping is always more effective. That's why he put that encircling chain over there. And if you notice, the fragment edges are clean and sharp, like wood, shards of glass or wood. Let's do a direction check. This is horizontal chop. If you note the chopper tip, it's blunt. Because you're going to go all the way to the equator, you cannot afford to take a sharp chopper over there. This is a vertical chop. Note the chopper tip, it's sharp. This is a diagonal chop, which is basically a variation of the vertical chop, and you have a sharp tip. So, basically we're using manual forces to reduce the ultrasound time or energy that we're going to use. And horizontal chop, the chopper moves towards the phaco tip in the horizontal plane, and the vertical chop, the chopper tip moves towards the phaco tip, and they move towards each other in the vertical plane. So the rest we've seen, it reduces stress on zonules, it reduces need for phaco tip visualization. That's very important because you have the phaco tip buried in the endonucleus. This is a bit about history, you can always read it up. Basically, there are lots of similar sounding terms, but the original chop term was coined by Nagahara, but then vertical chop actually came in 1995 by Fukasaku. But David Chang is the one who actually defined what is vertical and what is horizontal. And if you have an opportunity, he will speak about Rockout cataracts. If you ever have an opportunity to hear him on chopping, you must do that because he is the authority on chopping. The indications are hard cataracts, small pupils, and loose zonules or subluxated cataracts. Like I said, you could just hold the tip, hold the nucleus with the phaco tip, and the sharp chopper goes inside. That would be a chop. In harder cataracts, you can just pull it up a bit, and that helps you chop, and you're more secure. High vacuum and flow are essential to build that, to get a good hold. You lift the impaled nucleus anteriorly, pressing the sharp spike chopper tip downwards, and simultaneously lift the nucleus upward. That's very important. Because more often, beginners, we are interested in actually getting the chopper down, and you forget to pull up the nucleus. You need to get a good hold on the nucleus and then pull it up and then use that chopper going down. A shearing force is created. The fracture, you can feel that give. There is a give, and then you know that crack comes. And then there is a little sideways separation that you require, and that really extends that chop all the way down to the posterior plate. And your chopper tip, the location of your chop tip actually decides what kind of chop it's going to be, whether it's going to be a real direct vertical chop when you place it very close to your phaco tip, or it's going to be more of a diagonal chop if it's slightly away. There's no harm, there's no shame in doing that. You really don't have to be a nice Japanese karate guy. You can begin a bit away from the phaco tip and you will still get a good diagonal chop, and that also qualifies as a vertical chop. And as you go further down the line, you'll get more and more comfortable. What you need is a sharp, long chopper with a cutting edge. This is typically the chopper that we use on the left, and the right one can be used. I think these are basics which we will skip for the time being, the gauge and the bevel angle. Now, simple thing about the gauge. Tell me which handle is going to hold that lollipop better. Absolutely simple, doesn't require, there's no rocket science over here. It's absolutely simple logic. If you look at it, the thin handle, that lollipop is going to rotate. It's the thicker handle which is going to give it a better hold. So you need a wider bore phaco tip. A 19 gauge would probably serve better. And that apart, there is an advantage when you have, because these fragments are larger, so the process becomes faster. The amount of ultrasound energy used is less. We'll forget the physics about it. I could have go on speaking on that on the day. So, but the flip side is that a 19 gauge tip will also cause more surge on occlusion break. So you need to be watchful about that. Just when that chop is creating, and you're going to have that occlusion break, you need to just step back on that pedal of yours. 15 degrees or 30 degrees, 45 degrees is really not a great tip to chop with. And this is a vertical chop. Welcome, David. Like I was just saying, the guru of chopping. And this is a vertical chop, as you will see. This first one is a slightly diagonal one. If you will see, I'm going and bearing my phaco tip into that endonucleus. That's a bit away from the nucleus tip, and that's when you feel that give, and you've gone all the way to the posterior plate. This is a very hard Brunnerson cataract, and once you've gone all rotated, and it's necessary, you could always keep chopping from there and keep getting small pie-like fragments, or it would be better for beginners probably to make it in two complete halves. It gives you a lot more confidence when you have them completely separated. And that's the essence of chopping. You must have the fragments completely separated. That's how we have the two halves heminuclei completely separated, and then we go on the same principles, and you'll see this half I'm going to chop absolutely as per the brief, and I'm going to show you in the second half of the chop how we can go wrong. This was tailored for Arup stock, so I had a Brunnerson cataract very recently, so I thought I'll pick this up and bring. So this is the classical way of that spike goes in, and you have that give, and it just explodes that fault line, and now that's the half. This first fragment, you'll see what goes wrong. You'll see my hold isn't very good, and you'll see that fragment rotate. See that? That shouldn't happen. If I had held that nucleus better, that fragment wouldn't have rotated. And that's when I'm struggling. Again, I'm getting a better hold, trying to get a better hold. There. So we improve on that, and we need to go deep into the endonucleus. We don't have to go beyond that. And that's when we will get that good chop, and those fragments will separate. We go on to the next, sorry. Yeah. This is the next, this is a vertical chop where my chopper is very close to the phaco tip, as I told you. This is a vertical chop, and you can feel, I'm waiting for the give, and there it is. And you can see that red reflects through the cataract. This is the same. You go ahead, hold that endonucleus, pull up the nucleus. That's acting as your cutting board actually, because the posterior capsule is not going to give enough resistance to act as a cutting board, and you could probably damage the zonules. So you need to hold up the nucleus with that phaco probe of yours, and then the chopper just explodes that fault line and goes deep into it. And once you've done with the chopping, for beginners it would be a good idea to move on to a probably smaller chopper when you're dealing with the fragments. You could exchange that chopper for a smaller one or a second instrument, which whatever you're comfortable with, because these choppers are going to be slightly long and sharp, and you may not be very comfortable keeping it in the anterior chamber while you're dealing with relatively hard fragments. So that would be a good idea, and I think this is about the Kelman tip. Kelman tip gives you definitely an advantage because of the angulation. So we'll skip this video, and that's it. Thank you, Arup.